This video is going to be entitled, "We're going to use all of your stuff." Sometimes it's rare, but sometimes officers go head to head with other officers. There can be unpleasantries. There can be harsh words exchanged. It's rare, but it does happen. And this is an Army story about that. And when soldiers get to see that sort of thing unfold, sometimes it's fun. Here's the story. Good afternoon, let's get started. This video is entitled, "Punk, we're gonna use all your stuff." I may have an occasional car going by. We're out in front of my place this afternoon. It's starting to get a little dark and overcast outside, but this is where this video is gonna go down. So I have no idea how the audio is gonna turn out on this video today. I'm using my iPhone 10. Unfortunately, my Sony ZV-E 10 batteries need to be charged. My GoPro 10, which I might use, batteries need to be charged, and they're charging now. The only thing I had available to me was my iPhone 10. So I wanted to get this done. So under less than ideal conditions, here we are. And I'm just hoping the audio comes out well. But sometimes you just got to use the tools that you've got. We're sitting out in front of my house. This front yard I did last year, and we're doing the backyard right now. I'll show you that once it's done. Right now it's an absolute disaster, but it'll look pretty nice once it's all done. Be a great place to hang out and occasionally do a video for you. So if you watched any of my videos, you know that I spent about 30 years in the active and Army Reserve. So I have a handful of stories that I can share here with you. This is today's Clean Army story, and it's entitled, "We're gonna use all your stuff, punk." In 2004 to 2005, I deployed to Iraq with the 565th Movement Control Team. We were nested under the 44th Movement Control Battalion, which in turn fell up underneath the 82nd Airborne. That was our major command. So we, like most everybody else, deployed through Kuwait. There were a number of camps established in Kuwait to take incoming rotations of forces and to standardize them, go through some training in advance of deploying forward into Iraq. It was at this location that we would receive training and get updates on the latest and greatest tips, techniques, and tactics. It's also a location where you would spend a week, maybe a week and a half, getting acclimatized. My camp was Camp Virginia, and there were several camps because there were a lot of rotation of forces. We had at one time up to 27 troop contributing countries participating. So there were soldiers from the South Korean Army, British Army, Austrian Army, Japan, Ukraine, Poland, Hungary, El Salvador, and Mongolia. It was a true multinational effort led by U.S. forces. At my camp, there were nearly 8,000 soldiers while I was there getting ready. And so the camp was divided up into sections. As you can imagine, providing logistical life support for 8,000 soldiers is a lot of work. And the people responsible for providing that life support in terms of water for showers, meals, food for the dining facility, fuel, vehicle transportation, and coordination. Well, that was the job of the mayor's cell, because for all practical purposes, it was run like a small city. So it had to be organized, and there had to be a team of people dedicated to doing that. On the first day we arrived in the middle of the night, and we were tired and exhausted after a very, very long flight. So upon receiving our tent assignments, we all went straight to sleep. And we were able to sleep in the next day and get up and get breakfast. We had our processing and orientation that morning, and by that evening we were ready for dinner and sleep. The next morning we got up at 5:30 a.m. and proceeded to the showers, only to find that water hadn't been delivered to our zone's designated showers. Yes, there were designated showers. There was designated everything. We had no water, so it was a dry shave day, and then we went on about our business. I stopped by the mayor's cell to find out when exactly water was delivered to our zone, so that I could tell my soldiers to be first in line the next day. I was also hoping that I'd find out the water had already been delivered that day and that we could hit the showers that evening. That wasn't the case. They proceeded to explain to me some sob story about how they were having difficulty with the contractor from Kuwait in delivering the water in a reliable basis. Apparently they were not delivering the contracted amount of water on a daily basis, and so every day there were 1 or 2 or 3 zones that went without water for their showers. So I told them, well, let's just make sure that my zone gets water the next day and we'll all get along fine. So the next morning, water was supposed to be delivered at 5 a.m. and I was out there to greet them, except they never showed. And so once again, day 2, our showers had no water. So as an aggressive, forward-leaning young captain, what I did was I found the mayor's cell's showers, and at 5:30, we were all in their showers. And so as we were wrapping up there, a young captain from the mayor's cell came in to express that it was unacceptable for us to be using their showers, that we had designated showers, and we needed to get out. He used some flowery terminology. So I explained to him that speaking for and on behalf of my group, as far as we were concerned, he could drop dead. He proceeded to demand to know who our commander was. And I told him, my first name is Captain, my last name is Wagner. So let me reiterate, you can drop dead. And until or unless you and your friends decide to deliver water to our zone, we're going to keep using your showers and all of your crap. You don't like it? Too bad. It's pretty infrequent that soldiers get to see 2 captains going at each other, but today was that day. So this young captain, who apparently felt it was entirely reasonable for them to fail to deliver water consecutive days to us, while also not permitting us to use their showers, well, he was unreceptive to my response, where I told him to drop dead. It was from the heart, it was sincere, and I further explained that we would continue to use their showers and all of their other facilities until or unless they got their act together and started delivering water to us. He then countered and said, well, my lieutenant colonel's going to have something to say about all of this. And I said, fine, notify your lieutenant colonel, and he or she can then explain to Congressman Wally Herger, by way of a congressional inquiry, exactly why U.S. taxpayers are paying for water delivery service and a range of other services by way of contracts negotiated by and through that lieutenant colonel, and it's not being delivered for the benefit of soldiers on the ground. So if you and your little lieutenant colonel and your full bird are anxious to enter into a congressional investigation and answer questions that I guarantee you they don't want to be answering, do it. We can have that conversation. I'm good with that, and I will explain exactly why we used your showers. Because unlike several other units, you got water delivery every day. And I know because I've been tracking it. So you and your team are taken care of, while everybody else is left high and dry. That is unsatisfactory. So why don't you do an about face and go talk to your lieutenant colonel? So my soldiers who were there enjoyed that particular exchange a great deal. And as it turns out, they managed to find the water each and every day thereafter. It was an amazing circumstance. They were able to overcome the water delivery deficit. It's really amazing what you can do when you have enough motivation to do it. I never heard from his commander or his commander's commander. The problem was resolved and we stopped using all their stuff. Just sometimes officers have to go head to head with other officers to get their point across. It's okay. Sometimes feelings gotta get a little hurt. Feathers gotta get a little ruffled. I've been told sometimes if you want to make an omelet, you gotta crack a few eggs. I was not deployed to Iraq to go along to get along. That is not why I was there. And I didn't. My first job was taking care of my soldiers. And that I did do every time.